Hello guys, it's a warm welcome to the channel. This is Alpha Omega Daily. Guys, just before I start, if you've come here from my other channel, which is the Big Picture El Panorama, you're more than welcome. If you haven't heard of the Big Picture El Panorama, that's my other channel, and you can click the link below to become a subscriber there. But thank you all for joining me today. Today we're talking about motorcycle culture in Thailand. And again, I'm not going to take from statistics, I never do. I give it to you from my experience. It's not, I don't offer a critique, I offer an observation based on my experience. And today, that's exactly what we're going to do. So, sit back, relax, and enjoy this. So, I am standing at a junction of one of the busiest markets in Bangkok, and this is Wig Bang Market. It stretches up that direction for about a kilometre, and more or less another half kilometre in that direction, another kilometre up there. It's a very wide area, and it's very, very busy in terms of traffic and pedestrian traffic and vehicular traffic. More so vehicular traffic at this time of day. This is it's 3:45 in the afternoon on a Sunday afternoon. Usually when I do my videos in this market for the Big Picture El Panorama, it's late at night and you get a lot more girls walking around. That's what that channel's all about. But anyway, today we're talking about motorcycle culture, and one of the things that you will have noticed, or you will have heard of, or you will have experienced if you even were anywhere near Thailand or Vietnam or Cambodia or places like that, is that I would say a large minority or a small minority of people, a large minority or a small majority, I should say, of people choose motorcycles as their form of transport. In Thailand, it's a necessity because obviously not everyone's finances lets them afford a car, for example. One of the things that you'll have noticed is kids on motorcycles. I mean, again, I'm not criticising it, but I can't understand the logic. And again, you know, logic differs in Thailand. I don't know, if you've ever lived here, I'm sure you'll agree. There are certain things that Thai people do that just don't make sense. And that's not to say they're wrong. That's just to say that I don't understand the logic. For example, you will see children on motorcycles as passengers, as single pillion passengers, or children, multiple children on a motorcycle, 2 or 3, with the parent obviously in control, and the parent is wearing a helmet and the children are not. And you might wonder, why is that? When you see the police stop the parent, they apparently you can get into trouble for not wearing a helmet, of course, because they're mandatory. But apparently, well, this is what again, my observation, I see parents wearing helmets and the children not. So presumably, it's the person driving or in control of the motorcycle that's required to wear a helmet. I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, I probably am wrong, but that's my observation. In terms of ladies on motorcycles, they ride side saddle. And I've seen ladies, girls, riding side saddle on motorbikes, looking at their phones, not holding on, in other words, not holding on to the bike, looking at their phones, holding babies, reading newspapers, you name it. And I don't know, is their centre of gravity, because they're smaller, is their centre of gravity lower and they're better able to do that? Because I couldn't do that. One thing I want to draw your attention to as well, by the way, is I'm 183 centimetres tall. Thais call their motorcycles motor-sai, and they call, let's say, anything above 200cc big bike. That's actually the Thai language, big bike, that's what they say. But really, what they call motor-sai, in other words, motorcycle, we call a moped or a scooter. Most of these things are about 100cc or maybe a little bit over, but they're no more than a scooter. And someone of my stature, 180 centimetres, 183 centimetres, thereabouts, believe me, it's a bit of a tight squeeze getting on the back of one of those things. So I take them from time to time, motorcycle taxis. There's a few of them there. There's a Grab guy there, he's with his food, but sometimes take passengers. The guys with the yellow bibs, there, there's a lady riding side saddle there, look. And the guy that's driving her, riding her, Dublin, he said that to me, he'd be hung. The guy that's in control of the motorcycle is a motorcycle taxi guy. And I've taken, and she's riding side saddle, and I've taken loads of those, and I can tell you this much, it's a white knuckle ride every time, because I swear to God, one of the benefits of going on a motorcycle taxi is you can weave in and out of traffic. But the guys don't take any prisoners. They're like zip zap and you're holding on there for dear life, and they don't offer you a helmet, and that's your own choice, of course. If you want to take that form of transport, you take the risk. I only take motorcycle taxis when I absolutely have to, and that's not often. So my observation is that a lot of time people put their children on motorcycles, and it might look like they don't care, but in actual fact they do care quite a lot. And one of the reasons they do this is they're bringing their kids to school. How else are they going to get their kids to school? That's the thing, it's their only form of transport. Although you and I would deem it as being unsafe, it's like, let's say for example, we live in Western countries. If you're watching this and listening to this, you're probably from a Western country. We can afford to discriminate on whether or not we want to take a plastic bag for our groceries. Someone in a developing country doesn't give a damn whether it's a plastic bag or a paper bag or whatever other bag it is. They're just glad to get the food. So they can't afford to think like that. So maybe the people here who put children on motorcycles, they can't afford to be thinking, oh, I shouldn't be putting my kid in the motorcycle, maybe I should be doing something else. But what else can they do? That's probably it. One other point that I've learned on this as well, I'm from Ireland, and I don't know if you know this, but the first language of Ireland is not English, it's Gaelic, the Gaelic language. Dave is Adam Dunn, I'm in a going to Lynn. That's me, Dave is my name, and I live in Thailand. One of the aspects of the Gaelic languages, and it's relative to this video, is there's no word in Gaelic for yes or no. And because Gaelic was kind of died out when the British came to Ireland, Irish people spoke English in the Gaelic fashion, let's say, the structure. So an Irish person, even today, would probably not say yes or no. He say, are you going for a pint? He say, I will. How are you feeling? How are you feeling for a game of tennis? I'm grand. Do you want to do this? Do you want to do that? I will, I might, I will not. Very rarely do they say yes or no. So there's no yes or no in Irish, in Gaelic. And that affects the way we think. Language affects the way we think. If your vocabulary, if you don't have a word for it, it doesn't exist. The concept doesn't exist. So that's what I've learned. Behaviour in Thailand might seem strange, but it's directly related to their language, and if the concept doesn't exist in their language, they can't behave in the way that we'd expect them to behave. It's just different. It's not wrong. It's like driving on the left side of the road. No offence, but most Americans that I meet say you're driving on the wrong side of the road, because we drive on the same side of the road in Ireland. Look, it's not the wrong side, it's just the other side. There you go. So you're getting this video from the other side. You're getting this video from a foreigner living in Thailand, giving it to you straight. That's the way it is. Thai people drive on the left side of the road. Thai people put their kids on motorcycles. Thai girls ride side saddle on motorcycles. What can you do? That's the way it is. And you've got it straight from me. And this is a Sunday afternoon, as I said. It's not as busy as it could be if I did this on a Monday afternoon at more or less the same time. The kids would be getting off school and it would be mayhem. So there you go, guys. And I hope you create mayhem by clicking that subscribe button, clicking the like button, clicking the share button, do all those wonderful things. And I'll bring you back another wonderful video very soon. Thanks for joining me.